Good afternoon and welcome to the October 14th meeting of the Public Safety Legal Administration Committee. I am Andrea Boone, chair of this committee. To my right is the Honorable Amir Faroki and the Honorable Mary Norwood. To my left is the Honorable Matt Westmoreland. May we have a motion to adopt the agenda? Moved by the Honorable Matt Westmoreland, seconded by the Honorable Mary Norwood. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. The agenda has been adopted.
A motion to adopt the minutes, please. Moved by the Honorable Matt Westmoreland, seconded by the Honorable Mary Norwood. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. The minutes have been approved.
At this time, we have 6 public speakers. First speaker, Jermaine Austin.
Good evening. Chairwoman Boone, council members. Hey, Matt, how's it going? My name is Jermaine Austin. I am the chair of the ACRB board. I believe last time I was here, it was for my reappointment some months ago. And I'm here today just to give a few comments regarding the board and needs and our progress. First, I'd like to say that complaints for the ACRB board has been steadily increasing since 2021. We currently have about over 100 open cases that we need to review. We have about 20 officer-involved shootings that need review. One of the challenges we're facing is that there are 3 vacancies of investigators on the ACRB staff. Now, in our attempt to try to fill these seats, we have a plethora of or a lot of interest, but when it comes down to payment for the work that a lot of these investigators do, and they do a lot of good work, I must say. A lot is required of them, from investigations to reviews to interviews, from review of evidence, that go into putting together this lengthy, thorough report that the board looks over to make, I guess, decisions and to determine how we should vote during certain meetings. So the challenge in payment for these positions is the issue that we're facing. And so while I try to request the ACRB staff to increase the amount of cases our board are able to review, the small pushback is that the staff is unable to fill certain positions. So I hope that will be on the council members' minds as we move into the next year, and to just think about the ACRB board and funding to make sure that we can move forward with this matter. As it is, ACRB board, because we've seen an increase in complaints, we do know that the public is watching and they do care about the work that we do. Comment 2. We do have another vacancy on the board. First of all, thank you for your, I believe, an appointment that has been put forth to the ACRB from the council members. I believe it's Christopher Brown. I believe he's in the clearance stage now and is going through the process. So board is hoping to work with him soon, so thank you for that. We do have another vacancy for 18 and 30-year-olds that we're hoping to get a recommendation from council members on. One of my goals this year was to make sure that the board is fully filled, and we're hoping that we can get another recommendation there so that we can fill that vacancy. And lastly, I will say that we have increased events in each district and across the board and the communities. And so we're hoping that we can work with the council members to make sure that those we can have more events in those areas. And that's the extent of my public comments today. Hope that I'll get to give you another update soon. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, Devin Barrington Ward.
Good afternoon, members of the committee. First, I'd like to thank you all for moving forward PAD's contract. We were happy to see that they received the funding that they are in need of to do the work that is necessary to keep Atlantans safe. We can't do it all by ourselves, and part of having a full-service public safety system is ensuring that those alternative forms of public safety are funded and fully staffed up. My hope is that moving forward, we'll be able to not just fund PAD at the level that they're funded, but we can expand their funding so that they can operate 24/7 as opposed to Monday through Friday, 7 a.m., 7 p.m. as their current operating structure. Today, I'm also here to address an issue that has continued to come up since the shooting of Devon Anderson in August by off-duty police officer Melvin Potter. We have serious concerns about the fact that we have learned so much about Mr. Potter's background with his previous DUIs and the probation that he's still currently on in Coweta County for the DUI arrest that he took in 2021. I think that it's ridiculous that an officer with this type of background is able to remain on the force. We understand that he has been relieved of duty, but at this moment, he is still drawing a salary from the city of Atlanta. That is unacceptable. In addition to that, we want to know, there's always talk about the spirit of coordination and working together, collaboration between local governments in the region. Coweta County is technically a part of the Metro Atlanta region, and so I would like to know what correspondence has taken place between the city of Atlanta and Coweta County to find out more details about this officer's probation, why he was on probation, the requirements around his probation, and if his probation officer was notified about the incident that took place in South Fulton, because part of your probation is that they communicate with your employer. The city of Atlanta is his employer, and so I would think that we would be invested in making sure that his probation officer is aware of, the instances that has taken place with him in the city of South Fulton and his service record as a police officer with APD. In addition to that, there's some concerns that we have. We know that this body talks with officials from Grady. We're concerned that there was a warrant that was given to draw Mr. Potter's blood. That was not granted on Grady's side. Grady Hospital did not honor that warrant. We want to know why that warrant wasn't honored by Grady Hospital Systems. We also want to know why from the Fulton County Jail that warrant for his blood also wasn't honored as well. But more importantly, we want to know, there was questions by members of this committee about the service record of Mr. Potter and other officers who may be in a similar situation. And my hope is that the officials from APD are here today prepared to answer those questions that came specifically from Councilmember Lewis and Councilmember Faroki and others. So I'll be interested to see what the response is. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you. We have been joined by the Honorable Antonio Lewis, District 12, and also in the audience, we have been joined by Chief Elder Dancy of the Corrections Department, Chief Roderick Smith, Atlanta Fire Department, and our City Attorney, Ms. Patrice Perkins Hooker, are all in the audience today. Our next speaker, Janelle Lewis.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Speak a little closer.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. I am here in support of my aunt, Valerie Lands Anderson, and my cousin, Devon Anderson. It's been several months now and still no answers. We're not talking about someone that was out committing a crime. We're talking about an off-duty officer killing someone and putting other people at risk. Anyone that's seen the crime scene and the amount of bullets that went into several different cars in that parking lot because he was drunk. On probation, shouldn't should not even have been there, have already had several DUI arrests and still allowed to walk the streets where he's supposed to be protecting us, but instead he took a life. Took a life of someone that tried to de-escalate a situation that he wasn't even in. Walked away only to be gunned down. It's not fair. It's not fair that he's still walking around, have not been arrested. It just almost makes us wonder if this was flipped, if this was turned around, would it be the same? Would he have been arrested then? Is it because it's another African-American man? It doesn't matter? It does to us. And after 2 months, no answers, no callbacks, no one even at least trying to take some steps to hold this man accountable for what he did. So we're here for answers. And we're gonna keep coming asking what's going on and why we don't have the answers that we need. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Adam Wadley.
Hi, y'all. I'm also here about the Devon Anderson issue. I'm just a little confused why you introduce yourselves as honorable. I just want to say about some of the other people sitting here in this room that I personally understand very clearly that these issues going on with the Devon Anderson case are endemic, they are systemic. Councilperson Lewis, you have mentioned how you've been harassed by the police. And so, I just want to let you know that I'm not here as a citizen of Atlanta, which, according to the law or whatever, I am. I'm here as a concerned person, right? A citizen of the world. And I think it's important for all of us to look at what are the systems we are a part of? What is it that we are perpetuating? What is it that we are allowing to slide? What is it that we are not holding people accountable for? And Lord knows, there's plenty of things that I've done in my life that I could be held accountable for. I have. There's things I haven't been held accountable for that I could have been, that I still could. It's all fine. But I just want to say that because I'm not trying to act like I'm a better person than anybody who's here. That's not the point of this. The point is just that, as I said in my last public comment at the Atlanta City Council, if you have people who are supposed to be enforcing something that we call the law, and they are breaking the law, and, we have been, some of the language that's been used, Melvin Potter manipulated the system. Maybe he did. Maybe the system is there as a piano, and he can play its little keys. But I don't think that Melvin Potter turned the system against itself. My inclination would be more to believe that police officers are coached to, deny a blood test because, an obstruction charge can be made to go away a lot easier than a murder charge or a DUI or whatever the case may be. So I just want to bring these sorts of things to our attention. It's also, clear to me that there are many endemic issues in our military, our police forces, and in our society. These are cultural issues. These are things we are all implicated in. We're all part of the problem, and we can all be part of the solution. So with the Atlanta City Council, the subcommittee here, this Melvin Potter situation is multifaceted. It incorporates many, official legal jurisdictions. So me here, sitting here talking to you, we are interested in trying to pressure the sheriff of Fulton County to arrest Melvin Potter. We're very interested, obviously, in, why bother issuing a warrant if you're not going to execute it, right? Who is it at Grady who's able to sit there and make a sovereign decision not to carry out the law, right? And who is it, not just within the police forces or within city government, who decides not to follow the law, but who is aware of these decisions that are being made and is choosing not to raise a stink about it? I only have a few seconds left. I understand all of us who want to do the right thing are fighting against a rushing current, but the more of us that are willing to take a stand and take a little bit of a hit on the short end, the fewer people are going to die, and the easier it's going to be in the long term. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Ms. Valerie Anderson, the Honorable Antonio Lewis. Ms. Anderson, you can come on up. Ms. Anderson, please come on up.
And Ms. Anderson, we spoke over this weekend, and we continue to speak as this goes on. Thank you to Councilmember Amir Faroki, who actually, the attorney on this board right here, who was able to formulate the right words to our request. To
Yes.
me, I think that our request would be met today by the APD. I think that we made a very reasonable request, and I think we're going to get it met today. Or if not, I think they're going to tell us why they didn't meet it today. But I think we made a very reasonable request that it be met today. I think that justice, you and I, we talked about justice a little bit different last week. My family felt a little justice last week as I sat in the courtroom as my cousin was murdered 3 years ago. And they got a little justice as I sat next to my cousin, and we got justice about her son. My family felt justice 34 years ago when my mother was murdered when I was 2 years old, and the justice that they felt was that the law, the system went through. The man who murdered my mother actually did 30 plus years in prison, similar to the young man who murdered my cousin. He got 23 years last week, and I don't think we can lock our way up out of this situation at all. What we're going through, I think we're first in an epidemic, like he said. But I think that when we have council members trying to move in the right way, understand that this system it was created as slave catchers, and so we're trying to operate in this kind of system. And so I want to let you know you're with. I feel you, and so I'm standing in solidarity with you. I think the advocate that's sitting to your right, Devin Barrington Ward, is a good advocate to have
Yes, he
standing
is.
next to you
Yes, he is.
as well. So I want to say thank you, and I stand with you on that. And we hope to get I'm looking forward to the response from the police, from APD. I came in rushing, looking at my paperwork, thinking they gave it to us in writing, right? And so I'm looking forward to the response. Thank you again.
Well, I'm very.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Valerie Lanz Anderson, and I just want to thank Councilman Lewis and Councilman Faroki for asking the hard questions. I really do appreciate that, because City Council cannot be complicit with what's going on. Their right is to help the community, and I think by asking the hard questions is a way forward. My son died August 5th, senselessly. Melvin Potter is a problem police officer, has been a problem police officer. Melvin Potter has not been held accountable for anything. Anything, as far as I'm concerned. He's manipulating the system, and he's still doing it. And I'm asking Coweta County to investigate why he is not being held accountable for violating his probation, because he's still on probation. His probation is up next month. And why don't they come up here and arrest him? If it was someone else, they would be arrested. That's my frustration. Melvin Potter is being treated differently from any one of us. Why is that? If it was my son that did that, he probably would have died the same night. If my son had killed Melvin Potter, he probably would have died the same night. Melvin Potter violated a judge warrant to get his blood drawn. You couldn't have done that. Mr. Faroki couldn't have done that. Somebody else couldn't have done that. So why did he get away with that? I need to know. Why? It's a judge. He's over a judge. Is Melvin Potter over a judge that Melvin Potter could do whatever he wants to do? That he's been doing? That's not right. It's not right at all that this man, this murderer is getting away, playing the system, and no one is doing anything about it. He's not above the law. He's supposed to be protecting the law, but he's not above the law. He acts like it. And there's no accountability for it. Now, I'm all for change, but them hiring more phlebotomists to do drug tests, that's at the expense of my son. They knew they had this problem before. My son had to die for this change to come about. Why did my son have to die for this change to come about? They have a lot of problems that they're not addressing. They need to address these problems because they have a lot of police officers on the force that's not being held accountable for all the wrong that they're doing. Why? Because they're gaining the system. They're not being held accountable in any way. Melvin Potter, I have not heard one good thing about Melvin Potter. Not one. Not one good thing I've heard about him as a police officer. And like I always say, I'm not going anywhere until I get justice for Devon S. Anderson Jr. I'm not going anywhere. My son cannot die senselessly at the hand of a murderous police officer. I need justice. I'm going to get justice no matter how long it takes for my son. And I'm asking the council to please help me because you all could help me. There's things that you all could do to help me. Not just help me, help the community against people like Melvin Potter. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Ms. Henri Jordan.
Give now to the Spirit of God, everyone that's here. The Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. The Lord has his way in the whirlwind, and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. Nahum, 1st chapter, 3rd verse. The description of the Lord's intervention given in the verses 7 through 9 is called theophany, one of the many in the Old Testament in which God visibly manifests himself. For without are dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. Revelation 22nd chapter 15 verse. The dogs are impure and malicious people. Sorcerers are those who practice witchcraft. Whoremongers are those who practice all kinds of sexual immorality. Lie, Proverbs 6 chapter 19 verse. A false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. You took the income that Christ created through me to fulfill his righteous plans for the homeless, calling on Jesus, and our protection plan. When you find out what you need Christ's plan, you will seek to return the money to me. Christ is becoming no effect unto you. Whosoever you are justified by the law, ye are fallen from grace. Galatians 5th chapter 4th verse. The verse could be translated, you will be severed from Christ if you try to be justified by the law. You will forfeit the favor in God's eyes which won for you. Jesus has more power to fight Satan than we do. Come now, therefore, I pray thee, curse me, this people, for they are too mighty for me. Peradventure, I will prevail, that we may smite them, and that I may drive them out of the land. For I wot that he whom thou bless is blessed, and he whom thou curses is cursed. Numbers 22nd chapter 6 verse. On first reading, Balaam appears to be portrayed in a positive light, and is thus often presented as a saint out of God's perfect will. Balaam, in a very different light, portraying him as an opponent of Israel who would have cursed Israel had not a sovereign God intervened, as a man who preferred money to serving God. Do you tell God who he can curse or bless? I asked God to give James Griff a chance, even though he was against the word of God. Jesus is right, I was wrong. Jesus chastised me for asking to give James a chance. Man's mercy is not as good as God's mercy. Christ's mercy conquers sin, but man's mercy promotes sin.
Next speaker, Mr. Craig, regarding graffiti removal.
Council, I hope this is the right forum for this, but,
Mr. Craig, please give us your full name.
oh, I'm sorry. Craig Galanos. I'm starting an organization called the Atlanta Beautification Committee. We're involved in the eradication of graffiti in Atlanta. I'm requesting the establishment of a $50,000 reward fund to help address the growing issue of graffiti vandalism in Atlanta. Graffiti not only damages public and private property, but also negatively impacts our community, pride, safety, and local businesses. A well-structured program would incentivize citizens to report incidents leading to more arrests and convictions of offenders, ultimately deterring future vandalism. Based on successful programs in other cities, I did a search of many of the other cities, and I've included it in the package I'm going to leave here. Offering rewards of $500 to $1,000 per report leading to arrest and conviction has proven effective in encouraging community involvement. This initiative would support law enforcement officers, protect property values, and save taxpayer dollars in graffiti removal costs. By allocating $50,000, Atlanta would be taking a proactive step in improving the quality of life for our residents while preserving the beauty of our neighborhoods. I urge the council to approve this request and empower our community to take a stand against graffiti vandalism. I've also did a little AI for synopsis of best practices of cities offering rewards for graffiti vandalism, and I'll leave it in the package up here. I hope to work with the committee in actually making a huge impact on graffiti removal from Atlanta. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. At this time, we would like to know if the City of Atlanta Attorney's Office has an update or any information for the Anderson family.
Yes, good afternoon. Amber A. Robinson, City of Atlanta Department of Law. And speaking with the Atlanta Police Department, I can report that the GBI has informed the Atlanta Police Department that it is continuing its investigation into this matter and has not concluded the investigation, its criminal investigation at this time. And so it has not then been transferred over to the Fulton County DA's office yet. As this matter is still under investigation, the officer is relieved of duty and is currently suspended at home but with pay because of the pending investigation. There is an open administrative investigation into the officer, but it is also still on hold and pending the investigation of the GBI. And insofar as there is a question I think was raised concerning an issue about a warrant and blood taking. Whilst of course I cannot speak to the specifics of the charge, the officer was in fact charged with obstruction as a result of some of the activities concerning the investigation on the scene of the actual shooting.
Thank you. At this time, Deputy Chief Jason Smith will come forward with our crime update and any other updates on this matter. Deputy Chief Jason Smith.
Good afternoon, everybody. Very excited to be standing here in front of you all. You want to start with the crime update, or you want to go, which order you want to do it?
I would prefer to deal with the Anderson. If you have any other issue, they're still here. The mother is still here with us now.
I do not. As far as the department goes, Attorney Robinson covered it all. There's an open investigation. Speaking to the, I can't speak to the search warrant at Grady. Again, the Atlanta Police Department did not author the search warrant, nor did they serve it. So I can't speak to the contents of it, nor can I speak to Grady's reaction to it.
Thank you. Next, crime update.
So for our crime update, coming out of week 41, which ended Saturday night, year to date, we are down overall -5%. So that's a great number for us. And homicides are currently standing at -13% for the year. So we are continuing to see a nice reduction in that space. And our aggravated assault shootings are standing at -10% for the year. Now, we are starting to see a bit of an uptick in kind of the parking lot gas stations that we've talked about. We had one person shoot another over a $10 bet. We have another one that was an argument in a parking lot between people that knew each other. So we are seeing this escalation among acquaintances in places that are public, which is unfortunate. So we're going to continue to do our part, being in those spaces, our convenience stores, our gas stations, and making sure we are highly visible to try to deter any of that activity. The other thing I want to speak to is robbery, which is usually a pretty large driver of homicides, is currently down 17% for the year. And so we're very excited about that number. And we're even starting to see a nice reduction in our motor vehicle theft. I know we've all been talking for the past couple of years about what's going on in that space, and we stand at minus 23% right now. I do want to talk about a couple of incidents that happened last week that I think are some great works by the Atlanta Police Department. They continue to be. In our MLK space, which we talk about often, the 3400 block or thereabouts, officers saw a driver did not use a turn signal and noticed the driver also did not have a seatbelt on. Well, that led to the recovery of 3 weapons, 2 of which were stolen. One was stolen out of Alpharetta, one was stolen out of DeKalb. We have theft by receiving stolen property. We had possession with intent to distribute marijuana, and those guns were fully loaded when they were found. That was a great example of proactive police work, using traffic stops and traffic violations to try to find offenders. I want to point to another incident at 99 West Paces Ferry. I point to this one. There was a subject walking around a parking lot that seemed suspicious. A citizen called it in, which is always what we're looking for, right? We can't do anything without the citizenry, without their help. They know what is suspicious in their parking lots. This was at an apartment complex. They saw a male walking around, possibly had a gun. Officers got there. He did take off running, and he was eventually apprehended. He did throw a handgun to the side. That handgun, lo and behold, was stolen. He also had $34,000 in cash on him. He had oxycodone, marijuana, multiple cell phones, promethazine, and in his backpack, he also had a large number of credit cards that did not belong to him. So, once again, just from a citizen calling in a suspicious person who didn't belong in the parking lot led to this extraordinary case made by the officers up in Zone 2. So that just points to some of the good works that we've been seeing lately, and just wanted to point those out. I'm happy to take any questions on crime or where crime stands currently.
Do we have any questions from the body? The Honorable Antonio Lewis, followed by the Honorable Amir Faruqi.
And I won't. So first, I have a question surrounding around the DUIs. I know we asked a question last week, 2 weeks ago, and I was hoping that we're going to get that on officers with DUIs over the past 10 years. Mr. Faruqi, I want to make sure I said it right.
I believe that was the question I posed to Chief Shearbaum last cycle,
Yes.
was some data around number of DUIs that active APD officers have received over the last 10 years, and then the resolution disposition of those.
Yes.
From an internal perspective, yeah.
So I saw a draft report of that. It's supposed to come out today in written form, but I can give you the general overview. I'm not going to speak to specific numbers because I don't remember, and it was just a very brief overview.
And I think the reason why I asked is because you didn't bring it up. One of the things that the reason why we asked for this week, we wanted that from you up front. So I know you got it. If there's anything else that we asked up front that you have in your mind right now, if you can, we want to be as transparent as possible because we're talking about justice right now.
We're always about transparency. That's what we thrive on, and we're always aiming. That is our goal. The reason I didn't bring it up is because I don't have it in front of me, and I can't speak to the specific numbers. I can speak to overall what I saw, which again was about 5 per year over the last 10 years, and the punishments are normally a lengthy suspension, or a lot of them have also left the department before the conclusion of that investigation.
My next question was, so I've seen on the news, they said that the GBI has closed this out. I've done research, and so are we saying that the news is wrong?
News is wrong about what, sir?
The GBI closing out this case. with Mr. Potter?
The way it was relayed to me was the GBI investigation is still open.
Okay. I also want to know if, so Mr. Potter is at home, he's at home, he's working, he's fired, he was relieved from duties. Can you please explain that to me again?
He is relieved from duty, so he's in a non-enforcement capacity, and he is at home, which means he is not coming into work. He is at home.
So what does relieved from duty means and still getting
Let's
paid?
let our city attorney, Madam Attorney, one of you all, please.
So what is described, what the deputy chief is describing is that that would be a suspension with pay. He is not permitted to come into work, though he is being paid.
So he's suspended, or is he relieved from duty?
He's also been relieved for duty, meaning he does not have his badge, or he does not have his badge or gun. He is not able to act in an enforcement capacity, and he is suspended. He is not permitted to come to work, though he is being paid as a suspension with pay.
Can I ask a more specific question? So currently he is an employee still with the city of Atlanta.
That's correct.
That's what I was trying to ask. All right. So, and lastly, not on that, if I may, we have a former, because my constituents send me this stuff and they get it in the news. It says former Atlanta officer accused for offering child money for sex in Augusta. And this was supposedly the guy who won officer of the year last year. It's in the newspaper right now, the AJC.
I don't know if he won officer of the, he's no longer with the department, I can tell you that.
Okay.
I do not know if he won officer of the year, I'm not aware of that.
Is he still employed by the city of Atlanta? I think the
No,
name is
sir.
Benjamin Hobson.
No, he is not employed by the city.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
You done? Yeah. The report you saw draft of, you know when we are going to receive it?
My understanding was it was going to be sent out today.
But it hasn't been. So do you know when we're going to receive it?
I do not. I can check after. I can get you an answer after we finish up here.
Okay.
I know they were finalized. They want to make sure it was all accurate and correct.
Right, which is that's the baseline expectation. That's
Yes.
accurate and correct. But if we're going to receive it today, it'd be nice if we're going to receive it today. If not, we need to know when we're going to receive it.
I will get that for you.
And then you mentioned 5 per year for your recollection. Whether or not that's true or not, we'll see in the report. Do you recall if there were repeat offenders amongst those 5, or was it 5 individual?
I believe a second one is a termination. So I don't believe there was any repeat offenders in there. But don't quote me on that.
Well, we will look forward to receiving the report as soon as possible.
I will get that answer for you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you. Any more questions from this body? If not, thank you very much, Chief. Our next report will be the Department of Law Quarterly Update. Our City Attorney, Patrice Perkins Hooker. Attorney, we truly enjoyed your wonderful sermon at First Congregational yesterday. Featured speaker for servanthood. Very enlightening. And the members of Rush Memorial, thank you so much for that wonderful message. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Boone, for being there. It was our church's service Sunday, and I was speaking there. All right, this is our quarterly report, and we have, this is actually everything that has transpired since, I guess it's actually since June of 2024. You all have a copy of the handout, and we're going to cover the division metrics as well as various things by departments. I have 5 divisions now, and litigation is headed up by my deputy who happened to accompany me today, Mr. Torrey Smith. And the metrics were reflected as being a total of 579 open matters, and that's down from 793 last quarter, so that's a great thing. We still are working on the majority of these in-house, but as I told you last time, there are always going to be outside counsel required by the City of Atlanta based upon the complexity and the nature of the cases, and we have some very serious matters that we do refer to outside counsel. Our claims department has been processing claims like a fiend because we have been inundated as a result of the water pipe bursting. People have had numerous types of allegations of all types of things that have come through. So we've had hundreds of claims submitted, and the team is working diligently to process them. So people have at least received a response to say we acknowledge your claim, then we do an investigation of the claim, and then we come back to the City Council for a recommendation on the resolution of the claim. So the information for Q4 was 142 new claims and then 193 resolved. With the quiet titles and collections actions, we are up from 57 cases last quarter to 72. And then we filed 71 claims for payment. Now, these are claims that are assessed against liens on property. So people are filing quiet title actions to resolve the titles, and we use this as a way of collecting overdue monies. Our contract matters have decreased from 399 in Q3 to 288, and we have provided the council with all types of details on the nature of those contracts. Again, those contracts are citywide, so we handle contracting for every department in our office. The next slide deals with real estate matters by type. We're down from 531 in Q3 to 366, and it again details what they have been doing for our team. We also were down 2 attorneys in that quarter, and we have now hired everyone and staff for that team. In the business services, legislative, and administrative and council matters, that team did not exist at the last quarter. So this is a first-time report. We have divided up the business services team such that we have a municipal services, and then we have these other matters, because it just got to be a little bit difficult to track this. But these are by nature of matters, and they include formal legal opinions, client meetings, Georgia Open meetings, Georgia Open Records requests, and personal papers reviewed by the law department. And we will report on this on the next quarter going forward. Municipal governance team. This was, we have 425 matters, which is down from 436. We identified the nature of the matters, and that included some of the open records material that was pulled out in the separate department, as well as we have information by client departments. The next group is the labor and employment group. We have 223 cases, and that's up from 127 last time. It's been a significant increase in cases where employees are filing actions both with EEOC and with the federal government and with the state government. It's been a huge increase in litigation. And all of this is timing, so that means that someone filing litigation last quarter would have had a matter that probably occurred late last year or early this year, gone through our administrative processes, and then not been able to resolve them. The next one is operations, transportation, public works, and save. We have now 368 matters, and that's up from 114. A lot of that is dealing with a lot of issues associated with environmental conditions and non-watershed related matters. Our next category is operations team, watershed, and those matters are specified here. They are in a different format, broken out by legal advice and riparian technical panels, support, because that's one of the boards that we staff, and then the Water and Sewer Appeals Board information, which was not presented previously. So we're adding more details on that. And then aviation, they have 980 matters, down from 1,174. We have those different categories of matters. There is not a lot of new litigation handled by aviation because it's handled in our litigation department, but they provide litigation support. So if you needed records or you had to get a deposition with someone who was an aviation employee, that's being tracked. And then we provided an update on the outside spending totals for fourth quarter, which is April the 1st through June 30th. And it actually went through September of 2024, and you see the increase change. I think the cover sheet is incorrect. So the fourth quarter would have gone through the end of June. And we have gone down, decreased our outside counsel. As I told you, we're doing a lot more in-house. However, that trend won't continue because some of the cases you've heard about today will continue to come through and roll through. The matter just won't be probably litigated until the end of the year, the first part of next year. So you have any questions, Councilman?
Do we have any questions from the body at this time? Thank you so much, Madam City Attorney. Thank you.
Well, if you have any, our office is here to serve.
Thank you. At this time, Chief of Corrections, Elder Dancy. Chief, thank you all so much and your wonderful team. If you all would stand in the back, if this wonderful team, if you stand up, you all do so much in the community. Let's give them a hand. They do a lot in the community. I want to thank you all for what you all do on a weekly basis, coming out to the Midnight Basketball League, also helping with our food distributions, and anytime we need a helping hand, corrections is always there. And we appreciate the fact that you all run a safe, decent, and sanitary facility.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for
Thank
that,
you.
Madam Chair. I appreciate that. And before I start my presentation, I do want to recognize, I didn't know they were going to be here, but two of our kitchen staff members. Ms. Brooks, who's the manager, and she just stepped out, and Ms. Sherrod, who's one of the supervisors. They do an outstanding job of not only taking care of our detainees, but also the community, and a part of that will be mentioned in our presentation. But thank you again for the recognition, but I wanted to highlight the good work that they do.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
all you
Thank
all
you.
do.
And so as we start, we always like to start with our vision and mission statement. I'm sorry, I'm Interim Chief Elder Dancy, and I'll be providing a fourth quarter report for the Department of Corrections, which will cover April, May, and June of this year. We always like to start with our mission and vision statement, which is a reminder for us to our external and internal partners, our commitment to them and the community. Our vision statement is to protect the public while striving for excellence through exemplary customer service and promoting community involvement. And our mission statement is to provide a safe and secure correctional environment, enhance public safety through partnerships with the community and law enforcement. And here are a few examples of our partnerships. Inmate work detail. This is a ongoing relationship we've had with the Georgia Department of Corrections. Not only do they assist with projects at DLC, but also with code enforcement at DPW, as we continue to provide community-focused work detail services. I think I saw Ms. Talley in the audience earlier. We definitely enjoy working with them to do those clean and cut details with that relationship. Secondly, Emory Mental Health. This is an ongoing relationship that we have with Grady Hospital, Emory Forensic Psychiatric Fellows. They come to our facility twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays to provide mental health care for our detainees. And as you can see during this quarter, we assisted 151 detainees during that time, which is huge for them. Because this is an opportunity for them to be entered in their database, and anytime they have contact with mental health or any hospital, they will see the services that they've been provided and their needs, as well as medication and so forth. It's kind of like the beginning of that continuum of care that we always talk about. And then emergency management. This is a partnership this quarter with the Mayor's Emergency Preparedness Office to assist with the bridge detail. And these are some additional partnerships. As you, of course, we have ongoing partnerships with the Atlanta Police Department, especially during situation of civil unrest, we provide security and transportation. They also assisted us with weapon training this past quarter. Our team during jail school don't get weapon training, so those officers that we identify for that, APD has been gracious enough to assist us with getting those officers certified. And then Viral Solution, we have an ongoing relationship with them. During the past quarter, they came out once a week to provide screening and vaccination, COVID screening and vaccinations for our detainees and employees. And then the next, this is a project, and I have to give Dean credit for this, Commissioner Davis and his team. They completed our roof project. We will do a final walkthrough at the end of this month. This definitely creates salary savings and minimize repair work at ACDC. So we are very happy about that. Pressure washing, of course, we continue to refurbish the exterior of our building and upgrades to security, including cameras, lighting, and exit gates, and so forth. So thanks again to Commissioner Davis and his team. The Behavioral Health Diversion Center, we've, of course, talked about this in the past. Although all operational components will be separate and detached, we look forward to co-locating and supporting our new partners. Even though some of the areas at ACDC were taken away, they have repurposed locations to accommodate our team. And as you can see on the slide there, the intake processing area, the supervisory hallway, break room, and so forth. And this is just doing that this past quarter. And as you can see, there is a ribbon cutting that I think is designated for October 28th at ACDC. And of course, training and career development is always ongoing. We definitely try to continue to work to grow and improve our employees' skills and knowledge. During this quarter, we were able to take advantage of training at jail and weapon training, leadership training, health and wellness awareness training, and some other professional conferences. And that picture there to the top right, this was an opportunity that we took advantage of by going out to Cobb County Jail, and we've done this before, but we had a chance to collaborate with them just to sit down and share ideas and just to kind of exchange knowledge and grow. So we definitely appreciate Sheriff Owens for giving us that opportunity, and Colonel Williams and his team. Strategic initiative and community development, when we talk about the mayor's pillows, these are some of the things that we overlay it with One Safe City, a city of opportunity for all, and a city built for the future. Technology and safety upgrades. Lobby management system. This is our iLobby system where everyone now that's going to be coming into our facility will be in our electronic system. E-bonding service, and I'll talk about a little about that on the next slide. Jail management, body and x-ray scanners. Definitely appreciate the administration supporting us with this. We will have these scanners at our entrance as well as our intake area to provide extra security. The continuation of CCTV, phase 2 and 3, and body-worn cameras. I want to thank APD for allowing us to attach to their camera legislation and AIM. We plan to roll this out towards the end of the year. Community engagement is always ongoing with our youth, senior engagement, inmate outside details that we just spoke about, and the bridge detail. And as you can see there with the bridge detail initiative, our team, our food service team that we just spoke about, prepared over 35,000 meals during that time. And then maintenance. These are internal and external inspections that we are required to go through annually, and these are some of the quarterly inspections that you see listed here with City of Atlanta Fire Marshal. We passed that inspections, watershed inspections that we passed, that we were successful, Johnson Control, kitchen hood sprinkler system, the wet and dry system inspection, and food service permit. All of those inspections during that quarter, we are pleased to say that we passed with no problems. The next slide. We've talked about this off and on during these presentations. Again, definitely want to thank this body for supporting us with our online bonding process. We, as you can see, are making progress. We are at 70% at this point with our electronic bonding system in court, who's our vendor, compared to 24 cash bonds. Again, this gives our citizens an easy way to post cash bonds for their loved ones. So we're definitely happy about this process. And in the next phase is we will connect with the e-bonding. We believe that will be ready by the end of this month, but this will give those bonding companies an opportunity to transact with our vendor, which, as you probably know, that most of our bonds are made through, utilized through the bonding company. So this will be even a bigger opportunity for our customers. The next slide, we always provide our numbers, court numbers for this committee. This is our virtual court statistics for the quarter 2022, 23, and 24. Our 24 numbers are from April 7/22, May 8/33, and 8/39 in June of this quarter. And our next slide are going to be our total booking numbers from FY 22, 23, and 24. And as you can see in the yellow bar graph, they're going to represent Fulton County numbers as they've been with us since the end of December of 2022. Our bookings average in 22 is 1064, and 23 776 at ACDC, 218 with Fulton, and then FY 24 813 and 325 with Fulton. And then our average daily population, as you can see, it has increased since FY 22. We were at 43. Again, the orange is ACDC 52, FY 23 last year, and this year we're at 70 average population. And again, the yellow bar graph represents Fulton County. Now, next slide. This is our recruitment team. They have done a good job, and you'll see on the next slide where we drill down with our numbers, but we use several mediums and outlets to reach and attract the right candidates for ACDC. We work with HR, as you can see pictured there on the left, with us, doing hiring blitz, and as well as assisting with advertisement. We're in the process of building out a web design to also help us assist with attracting candidates through social media. And the next slide will give you our specific numbers. As you can see, in 2023, our sworn numbers during this quarter, we hired 2 and lost 3. So obviously we were upside down with those numbers. This year, we've hired 22 sworn members and lost 7. A significant change from last year to this year. And then our civilian numbers, we hired 6 last year, fiscal year during this time, and lost 4, and we hired 11 and lost 6. So definitely want to thank the mayor's administration for their support, especially with the pay increases and now the new pay and class study and the pension and benefit adjustments, and just investing in their employees. We definitely see that morale since those previous quarters have at least gotten better, and we are very appreciative of that, as well as the council support also. These are the top 15 charges that we always display during council presentation. They are pretty much the same, pretty consistent, with traffic being number 1, with driving while license revoked, and DUI is number 2 on that list. Most are always traffic, and I always have to mention that some of those minor charges, although they are showing on that list, they are usually lesser included offenses in the most serious charges. So you may have a DUI and a tag violation that would be counted off in those both times in that with those numbers. And the next slide, as you know, we are moving closely to the second year in our interagency agreement with Fulton County. They are, as you know, are exclusively and solely responsible for security, medical, and food service at our facility. and I'll give you the numbers in the next slide, but just want to say that we have a good relationship with Fulton. We meet with them biweekly. We haven't had any major concerns with the team on the ground there, so we are appreciative with that. But we are constantly doing internal audits and also looking at outcome measures to make sure that everything is being met. The next slide show our numbers, show Fulton County numbers there. As of October 8th, the total count was 440 with 256 females and 184 males. The next slide, of course, we were able to take advantage of the mayor's summer intern program. We had 7 interns at ACDC, as you can see pictured there. And they worked in various different places, also assisted with some of our reading circles, web design, worked with some of the food drives that we participated in, as well as IT, accreditation, medical, detention, maintenance, administration, and inmate services. They learned many facets of the criminal justice system while working with us, and we definitely appreciated their involvement. Thanks to Ms. Cade and Ms. Long, who supervised that team. These are some of the community engagement highlights with food drives, reading circles, and community outreach. So as you may know, we do jail tours off and on, and so this was an opportunity that we took advantage of to assist APD teams with a tour there at ACDC and the German police officers who came to visit the city. They were able to do a tour as well as we work to increase awareness and especially working with our youths, where we work to increase awareness and to deter criminal activity and use it as an educational purpose. This is the reading circle that we participated in at City View Scholarship Academy with our summer intern. That's Jada Scott there, one of our interns in the picture, and Tamika Ellis. That's your daughter, okay. Well, thank you for that. We really appreciate it, and as you can see, she was very active and involved while at ACDC. Awesome, awesome. The next slide is, of course, we all continue to go beyond the walls. This is an event with Madam Chair in her district in District 10, assisting at Jackson Memorial Church, along with Atlanta Fire Rescue Department at 534 Fairburn Road. And finally, we'd like to congratulate Director Williams, who's here, and Ms. Lowry, who they received their ambassador's certification. So definitely want to say thanks to Chief Candace Stencil for allowing that opportunity and allowing us to be a part of what the mayor calls his group project. So we are very appreciative of them volunteering to be involved in that program. And that's it. Thank you again for this opportunity, and thanks for your indulgence. Of course, we're available for any questions or comments.
Thank you, Chief. Again, your staff, one of your staff members was not here, but thank you for what you all do in our communities. You are so appreciated. Do we have any questions or concerns from the body? The Honorable Antonio Lewis.
Chief, thank you for such a thorough report. So I wrote a few sentences on a few pages that I'll be asking you, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
On the employment and attrition page, how many open civilian positions do you have? If and you don't got to give that to me now if you don't have it, but if you can give me the open civilian positions.
15 civilian positions vacant.
Open.
Yes, sir.
I can't wait to bring you to a job fair so we can fill those 15 positions.
Oh, absolutely.
For the civilian positions. Yes. I know people want those civilian jobs in ACDC.
Absolutely. So Director Williams is in charge of that unit, so we'll be happy to participate. Thank you.
Appreciate you for that. The total bookings and average daily population I see for the past 2 years it went up. As a council member, when I got elected, I was happy saying that it was 25 people, 15 people, sometimes 40 people over in ACDC. For now, to see it go up 2 years, to see it go up by 20, that's a huge jump. The law that I was watching was the law that they got rid of bail reform in the state. And so I know I asked this before to you, I'm gonna ask again. Is this increase a result of that, or let me ask a different question. Did this increase happen after that, or was it before the state enacted the new laws to get rid of bail reform?
No, I think you're on point. It's in line with that. We've seen some of those numbers increase since that state law changed. So I know that that's impacting some of those numbers there. Of course, it's off and on with APD running certain type of details. But yes, we'll see where our detainees receive longer time with us at ACDC, which impact those numbers. So you're right on point.
So I think the reason that we got rid of those, we did bail reform, was because we didn't want to hold people for those time periods. So I appreciate you for that, and I want to keep partners. And lastly, if we can keep the demographics, like a black, white, keep the demographics, because if that bail reform, if this increases all black men, I want to be able to say that out loud. So the next question I had was around the behavioral health diversion and center updates. Is there any connection with the Fulton County Behavioral Health Crisis Center in this? Because it looks like a lot of overlapping work will be done. And I know the Behavioral Health Diversion Center is the City of Atlanta's, and it's something we stood up. The Fulton County Behavioral Health Crisis Center is something that they stood up. But if there's any kind of way, similar to how I didn't vote in favor of it, but similar to how we're working together on the jail to help relieve some of their situation, I want to make sure that we are working together. The look on your face, I don't know. So.
Well, no. I actually, from an operational perspective, I wouldn't be able to answer those questions. We do speak quarterly with Ms. Karen Sutton, who will be driving that, and but we could definitely follow up. But I don't know the answer to that question at this time.
All right. And the reason why, making sure we talk as much as we can about the Fulton County Behavioral Health Crisis Center, because that's the job of Fulton County to take care of health and human services, making sure we utilize the building as much as possible. It's right in District 12, a huge resource to the city. Lastly, clean and clear. On the inmate work detail, how do we know about where is it? Where is it happening mainly?
So we mainly work with DPW. So when they have those requests, as well as APD code enforcement, they'll send us a list. Our team will go out and check the area. We can't work in airy space. Of course, we have security and safety concerns and so forth. But it's usually facilitated through those departments.
Okay, because I know I see Clayton County on there, and I understand that we may have a little property in Clayton County. I'm thinking about City of Atlanta, and
we specifically work in the City of Atlanta space.
Okay.
We utilize their transition centers in those counties, and they have allowed some of their detainees to work with us. So we'll go and pick them up early in the morning and transport them.
Are the inmates paid for this?
They're not paid. It's voluntary. It's not paid. I think it's definitely a part of, as they transition out, there are some programs that they have to be involved in to show that they can work in the community and be gainfully employed. But we are working with HR and other departments to see if we can connect a payment program. So that is something that we are actively looking at, and we would love to stand up and kind of be that liaison.
If I don't, it's kind of hard for me to think of people volunteering to come clean up outside and not getting paid for it, especially when they're working next to DPW workers. And I know it has nothing to do with you, but I want to know if I'm very interested in the HR program. Even looking at DPW, I know I work with Georgia Works a lot and CEO a lot, and they hire just as impacted people. But when I hear that sound like chain gang to me. Because for lack of a better way of saying it, and I know when you say and I know it's not you, and I know you say volunteer, and I know you very well meaning when you say it, but I just can't see as a just as impacted family as I have. I just can't see my cousin wanting to come out and cut the grass for free. But I was just thinking about ways in which we can just work and pay them for it, because it sounds like chain gang slavery type stuff to me.
Well, I could tell you about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we've had a meeting with DPW. They are very interested, and as well as Watershed and other departments who are willing to do a deep dive and look into that. So we've started that conversation, and hopefully we'll make some significant progress in the near future. But yes.
And so I'm currently not in favor of that program right now, moving how it is, because I don't think people are being volunteering to come out and do that. And I don't think you're forcing them to. I just can't see it. So I wanted to say that out loud. Thank you again.
Any questions, concerns from the body? Thank you, Chief. Also, what you all do during the winter months, I know you all are gearing up now for those great meals that we serve to our homeless population. Thank you so much for what you all do, especially in the kitchen back there.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Chief Smith, come on up. Our fire chief is here. We might have some questions for him, but wanted to say greetings to you, Chief Smith, Atlanta Fire and Rescue Department.
Good afternoon, Chairman Boone, council members. It's my pleasure to be here today. Fire Chief Rod Smith for Atlanta Fire Rescue. I know this is off schedule for my regularly scheduled quarterly update, but I thought it would be an opportune time for me to come by, one, and say hello and thank you for your support always for Atlanta Fire Rescue, and two, for me to introduce you to my new Chief of Staff. His name is Ramondo Hampton. He's been with the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department for 20+ years. We consider the Chief of Staff position a part of our succession planning program, and as we move forward, happy to share with you, we are looking to mirror the APLI program. We've recently created a professional development coordinator, and so we're looking to mirror that so that we can get back in the space of succession planning, ensuring that we have the leadership necessary to lead the organization into the future. So if I can get Chief Hampton to come up and give you a few words about himself, I'd really appreciate that.
Welcome, Chief, and you were in a roundtable discussion with young people on last week, and we appreciate all of the insight that you brought to that activity. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you, members, for allowing me to be here. I am Chief Hampton, City of Atlanta Fire Rescue. Been with the department for 20 years. My last assignment was Fire Station 38, which is on Donnelly Hollowell. I'm a native Atlantan, graduated from Mays High School, attended college at Atlanta Technical College. So been with the department 20 years. I'm enjoying every moment of it. Thank you for what you guys do for our department and for the city. So if there are any questions or if you need to reach me, I can be reached at rhampton@atlantaga.gov, or I'm at the Fire Chief's office. So.
Well, Chief, again, thank you so much. You brought so much to that organization and the roundtable. The young people really enjoyed everything that you said. So, again, thank you. And to our fire chief, again, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for having us out. We really appreciate your support.
This takes us to Section G, Communications. Item number 124C5121. A communication from Mayor Andre Dickens appointing Mr. Sean Norman to serve as a member of the License Review Board. This appointment is for a term of 2 years. Madam Chair, the appointee was unable to attend today's meeting, so the motion will be to hold this item.
Moved by the Honorable Matt Westmoreland, seconded by the Honorable Mary Norwood. Are we doing voice votes now? Or are we?
No, Madam Chair, our citizens back up and running.
Okay, thank you.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is held in committee. This takes us to our consent agenda.
I will make a motion to approve the favorable claims 1 through 6. Seconded by the Honorable Antonio Lewis. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The favorable claims have been approved.
I will make a motion to adverse the unfavorable claims 7 through 62. Seconded by the Honorable Matt Westmoreland. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The unfavorable claims have been adversed. This takes us to our regular agenda, Section I, ordinance for second reading. Item number 124-01529, an ordinance by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee to correct ordinance number 240-1220 adopted by the Atlanta City Council on May 20th, 2024, and approved per City Charter Section 2-403 on May 29th, 2024, authorizing the city to enter into a Fourth Amendment to the lease dated September 11th, 2015, to recognize the change of ownership and the name change by deleting KDI Atlanta Mall LLC, a limited liability company, as lessor, and inserting Hendon Greenbrier Mall 2022 LLC, a Georgia limited liability company, as lessor and for other purposes.
Move approval. Seconded by the Honorable Matt Westmoreland. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Item number 224-01530, an ordinance by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the mayor or his designee to amend the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, Part 3, Land Development Code, Appendix E, Atlanta Housing Code of 1987, Article 1, Policy and Administration, Section 18, Judicial Proceedings, and Article 3, Administrative NREM, Section 33, NREM Review Board, Hearing, and for other purposes.
Do we have someone here that would like to speak to this? Director Talley is here.
Good afternoon, Chair and other members of the committee. Daphne Talley, the Director of the Atlanta Police Department Code Enforcement. The purpose of this legislation is actually to amend two sections in our code, Section 18 first, making the section clearer regarding the perfection of our civil notices. And the second is to make it clear in Section 33 regarding the maintenance of properties after 2 years after the order has been issued. So again, it's just really clearing up the language that's already there.
Moved by the Honorable Mary Norwood, seconded by the Honorable Matt Westmoreland. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable.
Thank you.
Item number 324-01543, an ordinance by Councilmember Andrea L. Boone to ratify additional services rendered by James McLemore as acting fire chief from August 17, 2023 through September 17, 2023, in connection with the contractual agreement to reemploy James McLemore as the first deputy chief of the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department without benefits as authorized pursuant to Section 3-505B of the City Charter and Resolution 23R3548, to authorize the mayor or his designee to execute the First Amendment to the contractual agreement on behalf of the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department, to add funding to the agreement to pay for the services ratified hereby in an amount not to exceed and that build trust through partnerships with the community and for other purposes.
Move approval. Seconded by the Honorable Matt Westmoreland. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Item number 524R4284, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the mayor or his designee on behalf of the Atlanta Police Department to apply for and accept a grant from the BJA FY24 Local Law Enforcement Crime Gun Intelligence Center Integration Initiative in the amount not to exceed $200,802.00 for the purpose of identifying crime guns and their sources and for other purposes.
Moved by the Honorable Matt Westmoreland, seconded by the Honorable Andrea Boone.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Madam Chair, there is no objection from the committee. Can we take items 6 through 8 together as a block? These are all settlement legislation.
Please proceed.
Item number 6, 24R4285, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the settlement of all claims against the City of Atlanta in the case of Cheryl Miller versus City of Atlanta, ABC Corps number 1 through 3, and John Doe number 1 through 3. Civil action file number listed herein pending in the State Court of Fulton County in the amount of $7,500.00. Authorizing the settlement amount to be charged to and paid from the accounts listed herein and for other purposes. Item number 724R4286, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the settlement of all claims against the City of Atlanta in the case of Jasmine Hardy versus City of Atlanta, a municipal corporation, civil action file number listed herein pending in the State Court of Fulton County in the amount of $167,500.00. Authorizing the settlement amount to be charged to and paid from the accounts listed herein. Authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to distribute the settlement amount and for other purposes. Item number 8, 24R4287, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the settlement of all claims against the City of Atlanta in the case of Reginald Colbert versus City of Atlanta and John Doe, civil action file number listed herein pending in the State Court of Fulton County in the amount of $120,000.00, authorizing the settlement amount to be charged to and paid from the accounts listed herein and for other purposes.
Move approval. Seconded by the Honorable Matt Westmoreland. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Our last item for the day, item number 9, 24R4301, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the reemployment of Gwendolyn Burns as a claims manager in the City of Atlanta Department of Law pursuant to Section 3-505A of the Charter of the City of Atlanta, Georgia, for a period not to exceed 520 business days. Compensation will be charged to and paid from the department organization account number listed herein, and an annual amount not to exceed $90,000.00 and for other purposes.
Move approval. Seconded by the Honorable Antonio Lewis. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote? The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Madam Chair, that concludes our agenda for this afternoon.
Do we have any announcements for the day? If not, the Honorable Antonio Lewis.
I just wanted to correct myself from a question that I asked a little bit earlier with Chief Yancey. When folks are actually, when we have inmates that are actually out helping with the public, they're actually completing their community service hours that they were actually given from judges. So I want to make sure I correct myself on that. Thank you.
Any other announcements? If not, this meeting is adjourned.